Nancy Doss, nicknamed the Giggling Nanny, was always considered an approachable woman. So approachable in fact that she married 5 times. But unlike other sparkling beauties who married multiple times, Nannie's husbands all seemed to have something in common. Except for one, all of them died in a suspicious way. Nannie Doss was born on November 4, 1905, Alabama. Both Nannie and her mother hated her father, who was a controlling man. He would force his children to work on the family farm instead of attending school, and never let his daughters wear good clothes or makeup, because he thought this way he could protect them from being molested by men. At age 7, Nannie had an accident in a train. She hit her head on a metal bar on the seat, when the train suddenly stopped. As a result, for years after, she had blackouts and depression. She married her first husband Charles Bragg, at the age of 16 in 1923. But it was not a romantic marriage as Nannie expected, and she soon bore 4 daughters, and her casual smoking and drinking became a daily habit. When 2 of their daughters died of food poisoning, Charles got suspicious and decided to get divorced. Doss soon moved to a nearby town, and met Frank Harrelson, her second husband. Nannie and Frank lived together with her 2 children from her first husband, for 16 years. Her daughter got married and gave birth to 2 kids one after another. When she gave birth to the second child, she was so exhausted, but just before she fell asleep, she swore she saw Nannie holding her baby, and thrusting a hat pin into its tiny skull. Sometimes later, while Melvina was out, her other son Robert died mysteriously under Nannie's care. The death was determined to have been from unknown causes, and 2 months later, Nannie collected the $500 life insurance she'd taken out on the boy. One day in 1945, Nannie's drunkard husband reportedly raped Nannie. The next day, Nannie put some rat poison in his drink and Frank was dead by that evening. Nannie met her 3rd hubby in North Carolina. But this was a troubled marriage just like the other 2. Ali was an alcoholic and a womanizer. But the neighborhood saw Nannie as a good wife. When he died of what seemed to be a heart failure, the whole town showed up and supported Nannie at the funeral. This time, she kept the insurance and the couple's home, which had been left to Ali's sister in his will as well. Nannie's 4th husband was a very short-lived affair. After only a few months of marriage, he died of an unknown illness. Nannie had promptly poisoned him to death. Finally, in 1953, Nannie met her 5th husband. His name was Samuel Doss, a clean-cut, church-going man, who disapproved of the romance novels and stories that Nannie loved to read so much. In September of that year, Nannie poisoned a sweet potato pie, which was Samuel's favorite, with arsenic. When he went to the hospital, they diagnosed a severe digestive tract infection. He was treated and released. Unfortunately, he died later that evening. In her rush to collect on the 2 life insurance policies she'd taken out on him, Nannie dosed him with as much arsenic as she could get her hands on. Samuel's sudden and violent death tipped off doctors who performed an autopsy. Reportedly there was enough arsenic in his system to have killed 40 horses. In the end, Nannie Doss confessed to killing 4 of her husbands, her mother, her sister, her grandson Robert, and her mother-in-law. She was sentenced to life in prison in the Oklahoma State Penitentiary. And finally, far from any sort of karmic justice, Nannie herself died peacefully from leukemia in 1965.